It's one of those nights, y'all. The night that bourbon was made for. How about that? The Auburn Tigers take one on the chin at Arkansas. Incredibly, that's the first time that Arkansas has beaten a number one team on their home court, or at least inside of Bud Walton. I'm sure they did it in Barnhill back when Nolan Richardson was just getting started over there and entering the early part of his peak. But, yeah, Arkansas is a team that I warned you about. Not that you guys didn't listen to me. Why am I so low? There we go. I warned you guys about them, and not that you guys didn't listen. And Arkansas has been really good lately. They are terrific at home, and they have some things that Auburn doesn't like. Most notably, here we go, I'm finally up high enough. Most notably, some guards who are really quick. Great perimeter defense, very good perimeter defense anyway. And I think they were able to kind of take away the ball screen attack that Auburn prefers. And it took a while for Auburn to kind of find an alternative approach to attacking on the offensive end. And eventually, Wen was able to kind of get downhill without the need for screens, and I thought that was good. But, man, I think the lesson that we really take away from this, well, there's a few. But life without Zep sucks. He's very quick, and I think he would have been fine running ball screens against these guys because he has an extra step on Wen. And free throw shooting. Both shooting from an Auburn perspective was not as good as it should have been. And also conceding was not as good as it should have been from Auburn's perspective. I believe Arkansas was 26 of 32 at the line, and Auburn was 8 of 17, I believe. Let's go ahead and get over to our main screen here where I can look at these stats and tell you exactly what I'm talking about. 8 of 17 is correct. We had a big super chat coming through from one of our all-time favorites, Duff Diver, who was at the game tonight. He was there supporting his Auburn Tigers inside Bud Walton Arena. I believe it was his first trip there, and he was surprised, I think, at just how ardent those fans are. It was it's roughly twice the size of Auburn Arena, and it was jammed up tonight, full of Arkansas fans lusting for a dub against the hated Auburn Tigers tonight. So thank you, Duff Diver. Appreciate your support. Yo, yo, yo. Also, Locked On says, this is depressing. Can we talk about something that will unite the family like firing Harsin? Unite the family. That's my man Locked On right there. Thanks, Duff Diver, for that super chat. You're an absolute legend. Sam H., of course, one of our channel legends. Another one of them, I should say. Thanks for doing these, JG. Thank you, Sam H., for always being there for us and supporting the channel and just being an all-around badass, as is customary for you. Quan, one of our main guys here in the capital city, Montgomery, Alabama, is still undefeated in regulation. He's not wrong. I'm telling you, the guy's not wrong. He knows what time it is. Appreciate you, Quan. Canoe Man, another channel legend. I would imagine we're going to probably have to add Quan to the channel legends. I mean, he should have been on there. He should have been on there because he just is. He brings that kind of clout. Canoe Man, who is a channel legend for sure, says tonight puts a spotlight on the basketball newbies. Great. Great point to mention about bunker people. We had some really, really bad takes tonight on the bunker, as you would expect. And some of them, I think they're getting worse right now. So this is, guys, seriously, I mean, I shouldn't have to tell you all this. Because I know we have the smartest people on the internet on this stream. But national title teams, they lose anywhere from like 2 or 3 games to maybe 10, maybe more. You can probably show me some that had lost more. Guys, you go on the road. This is still a terrific Auburn team, a very deep team, very good team. You go on the road. You're missing an important part of your team, Zep Jasper. We can all talk about, well, he doesn't score a lot. Yeah, well, he does a lot of other shit really well. You go down without him. It still goes to overtime. You're making some mistakes, and it beats you, and you get beat. So it's really not the end of the world at all. You guys know better. But when you have your friends that are like, geez, the ways they dropped the game, I'm like, come on, guys. They're 22-2. And while they may fall from number one, look, guys, they're going to be, in all likelihood, a number one seed in the NCAA tournament. And this team is still absolutely straight dope. I mean, they are really, really good. War Eagle 0008, another channel legend, of course. We shot 47% from the foul line without our starting point guard and had a shot to win in regulation in that environment to a really good team. War Eagle will be 100. I completely agree with that statement. I'm trying to think. Arkansas, that's either 7 in a row, 8 in a row, 9 in a row, something like that. They are super, super hot. And I realize Auburn came into the game having won 19 in a row, so Auburn was extremely hot as well. But Arkansas is really good. They have won, let's see, 3. So that's 9 in a row now for Arkansas. Their last loss coming at Texas A&M on January 8th. So they're really good. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Auburn have to face them again in the tournament down in Tampa. And it's just a different situation when they're not in Bud Walton. I think that kind of changes a little bit, too. Changes things a little bit. Mobile alum in the house. So say, hey, I knew we would drop one. Of course, yeah. So how bad does this hurt us in the big picture? Will we still be number one? I doubt it. We have to see kind of what kind of fluffy stuff Gonzaga's got to go through. But I would imagine Auburn's going to drop on this. Yeah, but not too far, though. Not too far. I mean, maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 4. I don't know, somewhere like that. And it doesn't really matter, guys. I mean, really, it doesn't matter. You look at the sched. You've got A&M at home. I still have this as 2:30. I'm sorry, guys. This game has been changed to 11 a.m. and I need to change that graphic. I don't want anybody to be confused. That was changed not too long ago. So let me change this really quick. I know this is scintillating video, but I don't ever want to have incorrect information up there, and I should have caught that in pre-show, and I didn't. Shame on me. All right. Let me replace that real quick, and we will be back on our way. I could have like a producer do this stuff for me. Could you guys do this? There's no way you guys could have done this before the game. Before the show, I say. Come on, Jay. Pick it up. All right. That is not correct. So this game's going to be 11 o'clock Central Time on Saturday on ESPN. Texas A&M has been an absolute rut lately. I think they lost their 8th in a row today. So you feel like you can win that one. You think you can beat Vanderbilt. At Florida is going to be a challenge. Ole Miss is always a challenge, but you think at this point Auburn's probably better. Ole Miss has had some really tough personnel losses. At Tennessee is going to be a challenge. At Mississippi State is going to be a challenge. So there's still some stuff out there. Let's see. I saw a really good question here. Mobile alum. These super chats are catching up on me here. Cleveland Brown, one of our all-time favorites, of course. Bunk and Brain Drain. This is one of the few L's we can afford to take. This will be Arky's shining moment. One shining moment of the year. Ours will come during March Madness. I will go ahead and paraphrase you. That's a good take, Cleveland Brown, is typical for you. Mobile alum coming in. One of our anchors down in the lower Alabama area says, hey, JG, how does this affect us in SEC regular season standings? Will we get better from this? My opinion is yes. Auburn is now 1 game ahead of Kentucky, although Auburn has the tiebreaker over Kentucky. So it's really just at this point going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be a 3-horse race, right? I mean, I think Arkansas is going to be in it. They're a little behind, but they're really good, and Kentucky's really good, and Auburn's really good. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right there. I think this is something they will definitely learn from. And BP, again, you guys have heard him. You've seen the stories. We've written about it. He knows they're going to lose a game. I mean, you just don't hardly go undefeated in the league. Some people have before, but it's rare. And it's just really not that big a deal. What we need to learn from, we need to watch and see, we need to talk about, rather, what went wrong and what can be done about fixing that in the future. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Blake R. coming in, one of our favorite people on the Eastern Seaboard. Says, War Name Eagle JGT, keeping the positivity, still got the most wins in the country, and I feel sorry for A&M Saturday. That's the kind of positivity we love from you, Blake, and that's why you're an absolute stud. Appreciate you, bro. Andrew B. says, not going to lie, that dunk at the end was epic. Did it count? I don't think it counted. Auburn Alumni says Purdue in a dogfight right now with Illinois. Boy, I watched their game on MLK Day, and that was I think it was a 2 overtime game. So those two teams really going at it. Two really good ball clubs there. And I think it's worth you say, well, JG, why is somebody bringing up Purdue and Illinois? Yo, Auburn's a national team at this point. Ain't nothing wrong with keeping an eye out for these other teams that Auburn might face in the Final Four or whatever. Let's see what else we got. Giroux jumping in. Giroux, of course. Yeah, of course. I was going to say requests the offensive coordinator high board. So why did Jabari have to give me hope at the end of overtime? Not too upset at the loss tonight. Record crowd to watch UK. Now on to the OC search. Yes, right. Jabari had a couple. I'd written this. I did my thing that's on the front page, the game wrap, and I was pretty critical of Jabari because I thought he wasn't very good at that point. I think with about 2 minutes to go in overtime, he was 3 of 13, I think, from the floor. And then now in his last 3 road games, he's shooting approximately 24%. Did you get that calculated, or you guys can you guys give me that? Thanks. He's not been shooting well on the road. Missouri was a disaster. At Georgia was a disaster for him shooting, and then tonight was not quite a disaster. In fact, Andy gave him player of the game, which surprised me because to me Walker Kessler was by far and away the best player on the court tonight. But maybe they're just trying to change it up a little bit. But Jabari, he did. He had 2 really big 3-pointers there late that kind of created some drama and gave Auburn an opportunity. And if that jump ball, if Auburn had gotten that rebound with about 14 seconds to go, or if that jump ball had gone Auburn's way, that would have really gotten some people puckered up. There, Mobile Lem says, do we win the rest of the regular season games? I don't think so. I think there's another loss in there. There might be 2. To me, at Tennessee and at Mississippi State are going to be tough. Not to say the other ones won't be tough. I think Auburn's better than Florida, and I think Auburn's better than A&M, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. So that leaves – and I think Auburn's a better team than Mississippi State, but again, on the road, this team hasn't proven a ton to us, right? We tend to see the worst side of them on the road. I mean, the Missouri game was very tight. The Georgia game was tighter than it should have been. And then this game obviously was very tight going into overtime, and they didn't pull it out. Oh, gosh. Here we go. Brian, Matt. Let's see. Sorry, I had something there I had to answer to. Pikachu wants to. Pikachu, if you guys remember him from the show the other day, was asking a bunch of non sequitur questions. It was funny. He says, "Jay, what if the Auburn Tigers went up against the Cincinnati Bengals?" Yeah, that's a great question. What would happen there? What if they played badminton? What do you think would happen then? That'd be really interesting. Ravine jumping in. Another channel legend, a guy who we're really hoping to see at the Lower Alabama shindig at Voodoo Ink Company near the campus of South Alabama on February 18th or 19th. I can't remember. It's a Saturday. It's the Saturday, as I look on my schedule, it is the Florida game. It's when Auburn is at Florida. Saturday, February 19th. We will be live at Voodoo Ink Company in Mobile, Alabama for that game. I will not have a stream, and I will not be doing a game wrap. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Probably won't. But we'll definitely be taping a show with J-Head. Mr. Head will be there, along with Sir Locked On, Ma'am, Mobile alum 1991, and many other luminaries who live in the Lower Alabama area. Hopefully DJ HK will be there too. We liked him for show. Super chat coming through from Christian M. My man, what's up? He says, still undefeated in regulation. P. I love it. All you need there is a peacock. Is the only thing you're lacking. But they're pushing P. There's no doubt about it. Good call, Christian. Thank you, sir, for your support. Also, Hornatius jumps in, says, sup, beaches. My man, Hornatius. I'm having a hard time ragging on Hornatius these days. I used to, as you guys know, I love making fun of him. But he was such a legend with Deezer. I just don't even feel comfortable. I'm going to leave the comment up on the rundown threads every time where I shat upon Hornacus, and then Deezer backs him up. I'm just going to leave it there indefinitely, but it's harder. Dadgummit, Hornacus, you make it hard to rag on you, bro. See, Daniel P. Metal fans in the house. Hey, Jay, tough loss tonight. Just got a rebound. It's ironic that you would say rebound because they actually rebounded the hell out of it. But I know what you mean. I know you're just kind of teasing. Let's see. Calming Biscuit says get Reese back on in Mobile. Oh, dude, we love Reese. Believe me, Reese is a fan of the site, and we consider him family. He just had an event that night that he's going to. I guess an event that's more popular than ours for him. But we absolutely love him. No cap on that. All right. Blake is in the house. Much love, Auburn family. Look at the positivity. Love you, JG. Thanks for being here. Tough road loss, but maybe just what we need. Be interesting to see how our squad reacts and bounces back. That is a good question. Eric O in the house. Assuming we destroy A&M on Saturday, I don't see us dropping out of the top spot. Suck it. Barbara. Damn you. Is she the random Gonzaga fan from last year? Is that who that was? Willie V in the house. My man, what's up? Fudge. Only I didn't say fudge. Uh-oh, we're going to give him a laugh for that one. It's like, what is that? He goes, oh, it's a Christmas Story, right? He goes, fudge. Good stuff, Willie V. You might know him as Vern Lundquist on the board. Man, I'll tell you what, that is so obscure, Eric. You actually stumped me on that one. That is the chick from during the Gonzaga game that was flipping out, right? I think you're right about that. Let's see. Jack says, I think I know the answer to this question, but do you think we have peaked too early? No. Hell no. Golly, come on, guys. You lose in overtime at Bud Walton? Like, against a team that's won 8 or 9 in a row now? Come on now. Get a hold of yourselves. Auburn alumni, who is a very rational basketball fan, says probably drop 2 and the Zags go to 1. Talking about the polls, of course. Given that the Zags will probably destroy Northwest California Polytechnic this week. Yeah, I'm Hornacus, don't you joke about getting another treat, brother. I mean, that's not even funny. See, Auburn has dropped in KenPom from 7 to 8 with that loss. I mean, come on. It's not a devastating hit there. The Zaggers are playing Pacific on Thursday. Then they have to play at home against the hated St. Mary's Gales, who are good too. They've won 7 in a row. They're playing Santa Clara tonight. I don't have a score on that. But the St. Mary's Gales will be a pain in the ass for Gonzaga. I don't know as though they'll beat them, but they're going to give them some problems. That's a team that like Gonzaga has trouble with. In fact, KenPom gives them only a 75% chance to win at St. Mary's in the regular season finale. So, and they also lead. No, that's Gonzaga. Excuse me. Gonzaga leads the country in average possession length. Like it's 14 seconds is their average possession length. Holy shit. I mean, I've only watched one game of theirs. I feel like Auburn moves fast, and they're 17 seconds. Jeez. About that. Sparrow Empire jumping in, one of our football folks, but also transitioning over to basketball. Why does this team insist on shooting threes not launched by Jabari? It's just not their game. They moved away from it the second half and had much better success. A lot of things going on in the second half that was better, right? I kind of get what you're saying. I mean, Jabari's the best three-point shooter on the team. He's right around 40%. And then you've got 3 guys. Zepp actually shoots better than you would expect. He's like low 30s. Wen is low 30s, and KD is low 30s. So that's 3 guys that shoot a lot of threes. And, I mean, Wen has won a lot of games by shooting threes deep. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say stay away from that. The one that gets me is Walker. He had 4 shots in it, and he goes 2 of 4 from 3. So there's nothing wrong with that. But God bless, man. He's 7'1", and he's such a ninja around the basket. Like, what? Really? I mean, I understand you give him a shot or 2 maybe from 3-point range, but come on, man. Also, there's a take I kind of want to clarify on the bunker. A lot of people are like, why is Wen, this is at the end of regulation, why is Wen jacking up shots? Yeah, I even put this in the game wrap. Why is he jacking up shots from 25? With the game on the line. And let me see what this is. The question is, that was the question. The answer is, Wen likes to shoot from there. And then the ancillary question is, well, why don't they set up something for Walker? They don't set up shit for Walker. That's not how Walker works. Look at Walker's scoring this season. I bet you 90% of his points, well, it's going to be less than that, 70% of his points are from stickbacks or dunks or alley-oops. He gets some points at the free throw line, and he gets some threes. They don't run shit for him. They don't and never have. So don't sit there and say, well, they should have run something for Walker at the end. They don't ever run stuff for him. He's a stickback guy. Now, I think the better argument would be, why is Wendell not driving downhill? Because that's what happened. Like in the first half, they were trying to run their typical high ball screen shit, and it didn't work because they were icing it, and they couldn't get, this whole offense relies on taking the side screen, getting to the middle and getting downhill, and then just kind of creating chaos doing that. That's like how things work normally. In a perfect world, that's what they do. When Wen can't get around that screen, or he gets forced back in outside, they got to do something else. And in the second half, they just got away from the screen game, and they just started driving downhill one-on-one, basically ISOing it, and it worked fairly well. Wen was driving downhill and did a hell of a job. Why didn't he drive downhill at the end? I don't know. I mean, at that point, he had played probably 33 minutes. Actually, more than that, probably 34 minutes. He averages 28, so he's probably tired. We know he was having trouble with his leg tonight. He has a bone bruise on that leg from the Missouri game. I don't know. A lot of questions. Auburn alumni says St. Mary's. Yeah, the St. Mary's Gales. They're good, man. I think Ken Palm's got him 18th best team in the country, for what it's worth. Cleveland Brown says, I blame the Neville family for today's L. Yes, Auburn Arena has a new name. It's the Neville Arena, named after Mr. and Mrs. Neville, who made a very sizable donation to get naming rights to the stadium and named it after themselves, just as I would have if I was given that kind of money. We call it the Commodore Arena. Yeah, we sure would. Commodore says yes. The Commodore says dunk. Please. Let's see. Ravine says, your point about Walker is disappointing, JG. I hope that we are at least working on getting some kind of post play. I mean, post play. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look at him. Watch what he does. He's a stickback guy. He's great at it. He's a great rebounder. He's a great shot blocker. He has remarkably good body control for a guy his size. And he fouled out today, but he played a shitload of minutes. Played 33 minutes tonight and didn't foul out until a minute to go. I wrote this in the game wrap, I thought this was his most complete game of the whole year. And that's why I couldn't believe at all that he wasn't the player of the game. I mean, give me a break. I mean, Jabari scored more points, but he was completely out of that game for a long time. I mean, I was really surprised to see it, there was not as much Jabari in that second half. I thought, well, he had a crappy first half. He'll be fine in the second half. And he really wasn't. It doesn't take games over, He's still a really good player, don't get me wrong, and he's getting better. Man, he's a different player on the road. He really is. Crocky Poo says, are phones open tonight? Asking for a friend. Hell yeah, I'll go ahead and fire it up, brother. Sorry, I didn't have it on. Now it's on. Johnny B. Good says, Jay, you're talking basketball to a bunch of football fans. Bear with the hot takes. I think you're speaking the truth. I really do. Let's see. Auburn alumni says Zepp is going to get, well, I'm going to go ahead and editorialize there, should get some kind of ovation when he gets announced Saturday. He's the epitome of some of our parts good, and shows how missing any of the other pieces has a big effect on the entire group. I think he's the most important piece outside of Walker. I think Walker's the most important player on this team. And, I think you could argue that Jabari would be second. Yeah, he's really good. But, man, Zepp's really, really important too. Looks like Auburn alumni beat him to the punch. What's up, bro?
I was not expecting that, man.
I wasn't here. I thought Crocky Poo would dial me right up, but you're the winner. How you been, man?
Oh, I'm all right.
I know you're not out here losing your shit over this because you're a rational, normal basketball fan.
Look, what did I say? I mean, not trying to beat my chest because obviously I didn't want us to lose, but I've been screaming this from the boards and the brain drain that this was the toughest game we had left, and that place is going to be a zoo. And it was everything I thought it would be. They did what I thought they would do. They pressured Wendell. They tired him out. And, now I wasn't expecting us to go 8 of 17 from the line and miss several of those. I think were the front ends too. So who knows how many more we could have missed. But I mean, all that being said, I mean, you've already covered them. We lost. I mean, we didn't have Zep. We obviously did not play our best game. We shot about as poorly as you can possibly shoot in the first half. And still, we had the ball with, a chance to win the game in the very, last possession of regulation. So, I mean, sorry, folks, but that's
it happens.
The end of the world.
Yeah, that's listen, man. The arena was rocking. That team's been really, really hot. I mean, that's a tough task there to win that game and to take them to overtime. I think it's fine.
Yeah, and they're a good team, man. Like this is, I mean, I've said it. Musselman's a top-notch coach. I mean, that guy. Now they've won 8 in a row. I think
that's their ninth.
Yeah, and then last year they 9 or 10, or they won something crazy number last year too in a row, 11 or something like that. I mean, it's a lot, but. They're a good squad, and, I would have loved to try to get that fifth foul on Jalen a little sooner because their entire offense. I mean, I know Note had a big game tonight. He was their best perimeter guy, but really they're a completely different team with Jalen on the court versus when he's not on the court. So, but, I mean, all that being said, you had some heroic effort. I mean, like I said, that – the play where Walker defends the entire state of Arkansas by himself, I'm pretty sure their mascot got out there, the cheerleaders got out there, and he, swatted it away, was amazing. Devin, God bless him. He hits 1 out of every 12 threes he puts up, but the guy has just been working his absolute ass off on the boards and on defense, and he's been huge in that regard. So, we need Zeb, man. I mean, Bruce mentions, some of our parts is what makes us, and this is a key example of why any one of these pieces being gone just completely changes the whole unit because, it's not just minutes, but like we mentioned, Zeb is a very calming effect in the game.
It's true.
He's sneakily good at those threes. He's very good at timely threes. And not to mention, obviously, he's an elite defender. So, I'm hoping that he's back Saturday. So I would assume that him coming back will probably look drastically different.
Plus, you're at home.
As far as, yeah, we're not losing. Look, no one comes into Neville Arena and walks out with a W.
Auburn's never lost in Neville Arena.
No. Only the Fighting Nevilles get the W in Neville Arena. So
see, if you'd ponied up $20 million, we could have named it after you, bro. I wish we could have done that.
Hey, man, look, if you're gonna pay $20 million, and that was the other thing, people were all been out of shape over that. And I'm like, dude, if people are giving $20 million, not just to athletics, but to specifically the basketball program, that's fine. You can name it Neville, you can name it Mickey Mouse Arena, whatever. I'm fine with it. If it keeps Bruce happy and the basketball program rolling, I'm good with it.
All right, word.
I mean, I'm of the opinion that we'll bounce back. There'll be teachable moments. The nice thing is you look at that home schedule, and there's no one that really scares me. I mean, Vanderbilt, A&M, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, we're not losing any of those games.
Don't think so.
So, like
no.
you said, I mean, the tricky ones are Gainesville, Knoxville, and Starkville. And Gainesville is,
yeah, but
really Knoxville and Starkville. And I know people are looking at Knoxville, but Starkville might be even more of a challenge. Obviously, they've got an elite point guard. And they're pretty good inside. So that one, I really, I think that one might be tricky. But honestly, I don't see us dropping maybe one of those three. I think we'll finish 16-2.
Plus, when you're in Humphrey Coliseum, you got to worry about the mold spores and the fucking roof falling on your head. I mean, that place is a dump, dude.
Well, I mean, it's Starkville, so it's, but
well,
yeah, the
fair,
hump,
fair.
oh, yeah, the dump, so yeah, but. I mean, we just need Zep back and get things rolling again. I mean, Wendell, God bless the kid. obviously it wasn't ideal taking a long three, but at the same time, he's made so many of those in key situations too. I can't hate on the kid too bad, but we had our chances, but we'll bounce back. We'll be all right. I doubt we drop past 2 this week. Honestly, I think we probably dropped to 2 as long as I got a 1. But overall, we're fine. We'll be on the 1 line. Even if we finish 16-2, I mean, you're a horrific 3 losses on the entire year. I mean, people need to, like you said, realize that most of your top 1 seeds, you're losing 3, 4, 5 games.
Absolutely.
Including tournaments. So we good, fam. We're good.
Everything's Gucci, man.
Yeah. So let's just get it going. I do want to give a shout out to my granddad. He passed.
I saw that, man. I saw that. Wait, he played for the 57 team, right?
51. He was on
51.
the first. He was on the first Shug team. So he was a month away from his 91st birthday. But he grew up in Berrien. Went to Woodlawn with Bobby Bowden. Actually, my grandmother too. They all played together as kids, and he played high school ball with Bobby, and then of course on that 51 team was Vince Dooley. So that was pretty cool that my granddad got to play with Bobby Bowden and Vince Dooley, which is nice. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, so long. I hope I can make it to 90. That'd be a good life lived. But yeah, other than that, let's hurry up and get this football nonsense squared away. And yeah, let's go take care of the Aggies on Saturday, get Zep back, and all will be right with the world.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
be all right, folks.
All right, bro. We're thinking about you with your granddad, man.
Appreciate it, man. Very cool. I'm the first caller. I feel so honored. So.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man.
All right, bro.
See you, bro. Bye. There he is, Auburn alumni. Rest in peace to his granddad again. Played on that 51 team, and yeah, that's tough, man. We got a super chat that comes through from Christian. His second one this time, instead of just the P's, he's giving us the peacocks. How valuable and underappreciated or unappreciated is Zep? Guard play killed us tonight. I agree completely. Auburn alumni was just talking about that, and I've been speaking on Zep for a while now. Yeah, he's super, super fast, and he brings a dimension that Wen doesn't. We've now got Sir Crocky Poo on the line. What's up, Crocosile?
Nothing much. What's up, JGT?
I was surprised. He beat you to the punch on that one.
He was quick with the trigger. Physical feet over there.
Yeah, but we're glad to have you on the horn now, sir.
Oh, thanks. I was pulling up the box score, taking a look at it.
Yeah.
One thing that I think people are forgetting about Wendell. Like he's getting a lot of flack on the bunker. Not so much on here, but on the bunker. But he only played 20 games last year. He's still a freshman pretty much because of COVID.
Wow, that's a stretch, but okay, I got you.
I mean, he technically is a freshman. He gets 4 years, right?
I know, but he's got like 60 games to his credit. But whatever, that's cool. Or 40, whatever.
This is game 40, yeah. So that's like a full season. So I mean, sophomore from now on. Is that fair?
Okay.
But he was also on a team where his usage rate was so high, he was used to taking those clutch shots for them in crunch time. So, I mean, I give him a little leeway, but he needed a game like this to know, like, you don't need to shoulder the games because we're going to get to another point like this in March for sure. And he has to learn, like, you got to give the ball up.
Yeah.
You know?
They struggle with that a little bit. I mean, KD struggles with that. Wen struggles with that. Yeah, they got to get the ball out quicker.
It's not just about hero ball in clutch time. They got to get the best shot possible to someone that can score. And, they'll learn from that this game. So, I mean, I'm not as worried about it.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm glad to hear the brain drain's more rational than the bunk. It's bad.
The bunk is crazy right now.
So are they just shitting on Wen for the bad shot at the end of regulation?
They're taking turns on pretty much everyone on the team, That's how the bunker gets.
They went to overtime and come on, man.
With a good team.
Yes.
This is going to be a top 20 team by next week, but it is what it is. That's probably would you say it's the second toughest place to play in the SEC too?
Yeah.
I mean, it's right there with Rupp, probably tied.
Yeah, and Auburn Arena's gotten really tough too, but yeah, it's right there, man.
Yeah.
That's 20,000, man. I mean, that's double Auburn Arena. I'm sorry, Neville Arena.
Yeah.
Neville Arena. It's the Neville, man. The Nev. Hey, man, what about football? Let's say Harsin gets run tomorrow. You bummed?
Gonna do this to me?
Hell yeah,
JDT,
you of all people.
football?
Of course,
What
for
were
those
you
of you just listening in now, Croc Style is probably our number one basketball expert. So I'm kind of hitting him upside the head with the football question. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
What was the question again?
If he gets run tomorrow, I mean, are you devastated by that? Do you think it's a big deal?
For the program, no. I think Auburn football will still be good. I mean, you gotta give it time though. Given a coach 1 year, I get that it's bad. Like personally, I think he should have had more time. But I mean, just the recruiting was what buys you time in football. And if you're not doing that, I mean, you're on very thin ice from the start. And that's how I feel about it.
Word.
I mean, his work on the field, I feel like you can argue for, because I mean, losing your starting quarterback, it's always going to be rough in the SEC. But what buys you time off the field is how much, I don't want to say work you put into recruiting, but I mean, building relationships, vetting coaches that you hire, roster management, all those are what buy you time, especially in the SEC.
Yeah.
And he wasn't doing that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I wish he could have had more time to get his shot, but it is what it is.
It is
That's
what
how
it is.
I feel about it.
Well, I think it goes down tomorrow, so we'll figure it out then.
All right, then. Giddy up.
Yes, sir. All right, Croc Style, appreciate you calling in and chatting rationally about basketball, a sport that you're very passionate about. We appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you, JDC. Keep it up.
See you, man. Bye.
Yeah.
There he is, Crocky Poo, giving us not only a reset of reality, but also telling us what's going on in the bunker, which is good because I'm scared to go over there right now. Super Chat came in a little while ago from Stu Pup, keeping the streak alive. Of course, Stu Pup has been with us the whole time, like from our very first show, and he's incredible. Hold on, Mamadou. Well, Stu Pup, I'll get right back to you. You know I love you. We got Mamadou Dad on the horn coming in live from the great state of Indiana. What's up, brother?
What's going on, GG?
Word. Hey, do you have an update on Purdue and Illinois?
Yeah, watching it now. It's 59-50, or 59 now, 52. Purdue in the lead, 11:50 left.
Where's this? This is at the Purdue house, right?
This is at Mackey. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Keep an eye on that. All right, on the Auburn Tigers, Mama do that. I would imagine you being a rational basketball fan, you're not devastated by this.
No, I'm not devastated at all. And I made a post that I think was misinterpreted by the bunker, and I was getting flamed a little bit, which is fine. I felt like at times our guys looked a little fatigued out there. Jalen especially seemed a little fatigued, and Wendell played a lot of minutes. And I think things like that missed box out at the free throw at the end. That play where the Auburn alumni brought up with Walker fending off 4 guys under the basket. We didn't have any guys recover. I just think at times we were fatigued, and that led to kind of the overall sloppy play. Too many turnovers.
That was a really weird play. The one you're talking about, that might have been the weirdest play of the whole game, where he had like he blocked 3 shots, and he's by himself.
Yeah, nobody else came back.
What the hell, man? We don't need 4 leakers. Like maybe 2.
Right. So it's the little things, right? And the point isn't the loss. It's just shoring up some of those little things. So come tournament time, you're ready. And obviously the biggest concern is guard play, especially in the tournament. Got to take better care of the basketball. I didn't feel like we had really crisp possessions. And I would just love to see guys look to get Walker Kessler the ball more, look to get Jabari the ball more. I know this is not a new thing being brought up. It's been brought up before. But at times I think that really came back to bite us. When you really need a bucket, get those guys more touches.
Yeah, it was really disjointed out there for a lot of that game, I'm going to do that. And there's a reason they had 19 turnovers and 8 assists. That's messy, man. It's messy.
Yeah, you're not going to win many games when you're upside down and assist the turnovers and you shoot less than 50% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
So, credit and Arkansas's a good team. They played well enough to win, and their fans came out, so credit to them. But no, I think Auburn's still sitting in a good spot.
Yeah, that's what you like to hear. And they'll get Zep back for this next game, and get right back on track, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. No, having Zep is quickly becoming sort of the most important player to this roster. It certainly seems.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but I understand. You feel his loss when he's not there. Yeah.
The reason I say that is I just do not think behind him we have the support depth wise to really replace him well.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. Trey Alexander's over there at Creighton balling out. I guess that's the guy we're missing. And they got Trey Donaldson coming in next year, so that'll be good.
Yeah, Trey's looking for some more Instagram followers, evidently.
He is. He's not subtle about it, is he?
No. I think Harsin unfollowed him. He didn't want him to get too big of a head, so we had to make up for it as the bunker.
Hey, you pay attention to football too. Thoughts on just this fracas situation with Harsin?
Yeah, I mean, I think I honestly think the circus around it has lent itself to be. I think people think there's some sort of a witch hunt against him, and I'm more inclined to think that despite the stupid rumors that were out there, what really dug his grave was the inside the house, Mason particularly, but I think others that have corroborated a lot of things that have led to where we're at. So I think he's dug his own grave, sadly, and time to move on. And I'm with Auburn alumni who's leading the Jeff Grimes charge. I just really hope that it's Grimes.
I don't think you're going to get the satisfying answer you're going to want out of that, but I like him. I like Jeff Grimes when he was here. He's one of my favorite guys to cover, so I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we shall see. There's no bunker like a coaching search bunker.
My man, that's what I'm talking about right there. All right, bro.
All right.
Appreciate you calling in, man.
Hey, appreciate you. Have a good one.
See you, bro. Bye. There is Mama Do That. Also, Auburn PCE called in while Mama Do was on the hone. So if you want to holler back, I'll pick you up for sure. One more thing I wanted to add. I am pretty damn sure that people from Auburn, unofficial elements from the Auburn world, contacted unofficial elements of the Hugh Freeze world today. In fact, I'm real damn sure about it because I'm telling you about it on the stream. I think some unofficial contact was made with Hugh Freeze's people today. But for now, we've got Sir D. Lucky on the horn. D. Lucky, what's up, bro? I have not forgotten you, but we're glad to have you on the line now.
All good. What's good, JG?
Well, at the moment, not necessarily a bunch is good. Although I'm still bipedal, and I'm still breathing.
There we go. Like I say, we're all upright.
Well, so far. Because, you know what I would like to say? Going. Every day above ground, all I want to do is ball, D. Lucky. I mean, that's just kind of how I roll.
I love that.
Word. How have you been, brother?
It was good, man. As we expected, tonight was a toughie. It was, no surprises. It was always going to be hard to get out of there with a win, and we didn't do enough to secure the win. Had it in our fingertips and gave it away. Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Usually this team kind of consolidates there at the end and brings it home, and this time they didn't. But, I mean, you go to overtime at Bud Walton against a surging Arkansas team. I don't know, man. I don't see a lot of negative there. I know you don't either. I'm just saying.
No, there's some learning points. It's funny because Katie and Wendell at times are too selfish, and Jabari is like the antithesis of that because there are times when you just really want him to take over. There was one point I think we might have been up 5, and he got the ball on the wing and kicked it to the corner to Jalen maybe or somebody kicked it to somebody in the corner for a 3-point attempt. And he was like, "No, you shoot the ball. Don't pass that one. You shoot the ball."
Yeah.
And it's plays like that if they can learn to make the right basketball play, will be fine. It's like the window shot at the end. I know he's hit that shot for us before,
Sure.
but it's not with game on the line type of shot. It's middle of a big run, getting in the flow, pulls up and hits it in rhythm. Okay, sure, but not 20 seconds on the clock, game on the line. We can pull it out. I want him to get to the rack, get a shot up with enough time so that Walker can get a putback, or if they collapse on him, he can kick to Jabari. Be a playmaker in that spot. And then if they don't come to you, and you can shoot a little floater or pull up and hit a jump shot or something else, but give us as many options as we can, not just take a do or die 30-footer.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a learning point for him. We'll see.
It'd be nice. Sure.
Yeah.
And they miss Zep. They miss Zep.
They did. And Allen's still not Allen. He just has moments. He's just out of sync. It's just he's out there, and you see him go, and then he just outthinks the play.
Yeah,
and
I think you're right.
Does something that has no sense, no bearing on what he was headed to do, and he just gets lost for a moment. So hopefully he can keep working through it. He's had moments, but just need a little bit more consistency. It doesn't have to be spectacular. Just a little bit more consistency from it.
It's been tough for him. I think for him, physically, I think he's good. I don't think he has quite the explosiveness that we saw last year, D-Lucky, but I think for him it's more mental and just trying to find a role, and I don't think he's found it yet.
He has not, and it's fine for him to be really good at defending, someone who drives to the basket, and then just be again conscious. I can finish, or I've got other people who I can kick the ball to. I don't have to drive over the top of someone and get a charge. And it seems like he just gets stuck in between and just does nothing. He's had a couple of plays where he literally did nothing with the ball. He just drove and then jumped in the air and then kind of came back down with it. It was like, oh, okay, Al, that's not exactly what we were hoping for.
That's not ideal.
No, less than ideal there. So if we can just get those plays out, he'll be fine and we'll be better for it.
Yeah. And again, I mean, they're at home against A&M Saturday morning, and then home against Vanderbilt. So I mean, that's going to be 2 tasty games there.
It will be, and this will be. I mean, we've talked a little bit about them being a little fatigued. It'd be great to get out to some pretty sizable leagues and get some more folks some run. It would have been great for Chris Moore to have played a little bit more before tonight, because there was just one play where he got a good offensive rebound, and instead of just going right back up with it and, laying it in the basket, he turns around and throws it to, Arkansas. And, that's just not being in the game. He's just not used to it. That was an easy putback for him, and he just chose to go the opposite direction, and it didn't work out for us.
Yeah. Might have been in his head that they were booing him and he was going back to Arkansas and all that. I don't know. Maybe that's part of it.
Possibly.
He's a conscientious young man.
Yeah, get up off your feet, dunk it on somebody.
Yeah, that's what Devin likes to do.
I know Devin likes to. He had a couple of dunks that he was a little timid, I thought, on a couple of putbacks first half more than anything. He should have just slammed it, and he tried to lay it up, and we missed it.
Yeah.
So a lot of bunnies in the first half. They played better, but it's just too much of that kind of stuff that on the road in that kind of environment, you can't have those plays. You got to take the easy stuff for sure.
And then your take on Harsin? Just kind of this kind of, is he or isn't he?
He's gone. I think he had the misfortune, if you want to call it that, of being someone who got promoted or put into a position that everybody wasn't sure that he was qualified for, and he had a chance to prove himself, and he had way too many self-inflicted wounds trying to do that. And there was in-game issues where everyone looked and saw coaching decisions that didn't make sense to us. the Penn State, some of that stuff that was there, the call at the end of the game there, not going for two in the Iron Bowl, just stuff like that didn't make sense. Also, just strategy overall, like what the hell was the defense against Mississippi State? Why did we not, get out of that? There's just too many things like that. Then you have the staff issues with folks leaving, kids leaving the transfer portal, and then you top it off with going 0 for 4 on recruiting on the back end, and that's just the main. I mean, we haven't heard all the other coaching things that's been missed and stuff like that. That we'll never know all of those kinds of things that were self-inflicted. So I just think he didn't do enough to build and get any momentum that could have allowed him to get his changes to take place fully. So, and I think there's just too much concern about his lack of recruiting. I'm sure you saw the Atlantic article. That was really telling for me. I had not considered the first full year recruiting class of some other coaches and how far off we were from that. So, and I don't think he really got how important that was to the success of the program. That's got to be A1. I thought with the recruiting enterprise that he was going to come in and he was going to do something different and try to get Auburn an advantage recruiting wise. And it seems like it just never was utilized the way that it should have been.
I think that's fair. I think the enterprise is cranking. I mean, not at the moment, but prior to this, I just don't think it was being appreciated for what it was, for the work it was doing, is the way I would put it. It's my opinion.
I could see that because I thought that it would be, not only will we be early on, kind of top tier kids and not have to fight an uphill battle every time with those guys, but I also thought that it would go, a little above and beyond and find some kids that may not be as highly ranked on lists, but could come and help the program. And so that was going to kind of be the advantage, is that we were going to recruit at a really high level and get, some studs, but we also were going to find contributors that maybe other folks had overlooked. But I didn't think it was going to involve, overlooking people that are 30 miles away from your campus and, not going to visit them. That part of it is where, like I said, I think he fell down on the job. So maybe he'll do better at his next stop.
That's one way to look at it. D. Lucky, we love your reasonable, rational takes. They're very appreciated.
Well, I appreciate the time, and hopefully everybody's staying safe out there. And like I said, there's no bunker like Coach of Search Bunker. So put that with a hopefully still number one team. It's going to be a hell of a winter roundup we got here.
Yeah, I think that's going to kick off tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, I'm expecting the same. Should be a pretty good weekend.
All right, D. Lucky. Thanks for calling in, bro.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
See you, bro.
Yeah, man. Peace.
There he is, channel legend D. Lucky. Is he the? I don't want to say who's the best caller, but we love D. Lucky. We love it when he calls in, and he's had a lot of legendary calls in his career. I still haven't shouted out Stu Pup's super chat from about 15 minutes ago. It says, team has two issues. Katie and Wynn dominate the ball too much, which is true. And the small forward spot, i.e. wing, is an absolute zero on offense, especially shooting from three. That's right. It's supposed to be Al's spot. Just ain't quite there. And Chris Moore, you kind of see what it is. So for me, he's just lacking confidence. When he's in practice, I'm telling you, the guy's an absolute baller. He's an animal. But in games, like, he's just so worried about other stuff, he just doesn't help. And so, Stu Pup, I think you're right on the money there. We got Auburn PCE on the line. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, JGT?
Just usual stuff. Auburn losing for the first time since Thanksgiving, and probably a coaching search. No big deal.
No big deal. Hey, the loss, is bound to happen. I didn't think we would get the win tonight, but after, it's very frustrating still seeing us play sometimes. Some of those shots toward the end of the game were frustrating. But hey, I looked at the game stats from the November and the December games, and just to see how many shots people were taking. And we really spread the shots around back then. Everyone was shooting 7 to 10 shots per game for the most part. Rarely would have a 16 or 17 shots. And then lately, some of our guards have been getting, 20-plus shots a game. And I think that's a lot to do with the selfishness play lately, and just, had to do with the loss tonight as well. What do you think about that?
The shot numbers look about normal to me. I mean, the star players are getting the shots. I mean, Walker's getting stickbacks. You don't want to pay attention to his field goal shooting too much because he gets so many stickbacks. And Jabari and
Right.
Wendell, to me, are the stars, and they're getting, 21 for Wendell's probably a little much. And then 16 for Jabari, which seems about right. So, I don't know. The numbers look okay to me. Now, the other day against Georgia, they were definitely slanted away from Jabari. What do you get, 6 shots or something like that? That ain't nearly enough for who's going to be a first-round pick. So, but I don't know, man. I think we know who the stars are now, Auburn PCE. That's kind of the way I would look at it, and that's why maybe they're kind of allocating more shots to those guys now. That would be my only thing.
How do you think? What did you think of Jabari's clutch threes at the end?
Huge, man. He gave him a chance, and really, I mean, if they had gotten that fucking rebound at 14 seconds left, they'd have had a shot to win the game.
Yeah, I was frustrated that Jalen couldn't pull that down, but it happens, I guess. But
yeah, it does.
Did I hear you say that Hugh Freeze was unofficially reached out to today?
I would prefer to say Hugh Freeze's people were unofficially reached out to today. Yes. There are back channel communications going on there.
Gotcha. All right. You think we'll hear something tomorrow?
I do. I think tomorrow's got to be the day. That's the day Harsin comes back from Mexico. This investigation has been moving at breakneck pace. They know they're just withering in the wind right now. Auburn football has essentially stopped operations at this point. The offensive coordinator search is ground to a halt. There's contracts that need to be okayed that are not going to get okayed. I mean, it's a weird situation, and they've got to get this over with. And I think tomorrow's the day. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, now I'm going to use all my data tomorrow on my phone, so I appreciate that.
Okay. I would give it until the afternoon, though. I would give it till the afternoon.
All right, JG. Well, thanks for taking my call, man.
Of course. Thanks for calling in, brother. We'll see you. Be good, all right?
All right, bye.
See you, man. There he is, Auburn PCE calling in. Love to have him on the show as well. Appreciate that so much. We love everybody calling in because I know it takes some effort to do that, and we appreciate it. Stu Pup, of course, the super chat, I read it out earlier, but I just want to tell you I love you, bro. And he always keeps it with us here on the show. I also got one from Call Me Biscuit, who's been a super ardent supporter of everything we do here. Bunker content. I don't even think he shits on Stoltze. He's like really, really nice. He's really nice. Call Me Biscuit. Appreciate you, brother. I'll call that out here in a second. We got MW Dave on the line. MW Dave, what up, brother?
Hey, JG, what's up?
MW Dave, who's a little taller than I expected when I met him the other day.
Yeah, I told my best friend you met there about that, and he said I sound a little bit taller over the radio.
Yeah, that's a little Smokey the Bandit reference there. I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Thank you, nice lady. MWD, of course, you're a very rational caller. What are your takes on this basketball game here?
I mean, it's basketball. You go into a tough environment on the road, midweek SEC, team that's on a hot streak, and you're a team that's gotten a little beat up, a little slowed down, got a key player out. It wasn't unexpected. I think we fought hard. We hung in there. Jabari made those shots at the end. But it's just basketball. I don't get worked up over that. I think Arkansas did some things with it. The way they were all over the court defensively reminded me of how we were against Kentucky. I mean, they were just every time we went inside, they were there. If you outside, we weren't getting open looks because they were there. The high ball screens weren't working. I think it's a learning point for Bruce in the game. They'll go and they'll figure out, okay, when somebody's going to, has the ability to shut us down on this high ball screen, what are we going to go to? And we just hadn't really been tested on that this year. So.
Right. And I thought they kind of sorted it out in the second half. They started just driving without screens.
Yeah.
But, against teams like that, it's going to be a grind.
It may have been Mama Do That. Somebody used the word timid. There was a player that looked timid. Compared to how we looked, 2 weeks ago with the Kentucky game, we do top to bottom. I would say we look a little timid. We're not attacking as much. We're not as aggressive. There's times guys should go up and they're looking for a pass when they're right under the basket. Just little things like that, and it's just a sign of a team that's fatigued, and a little banged up. And I don't know if they had. I mean, they look. I'm not trying to make an excuse by any means, but they look kind of like a team that had a little illness going around. That sort of thing. But
yeah.
It's a long season. You gotta get through that, and then go ripping and roaring. I mean, everybody gets upset now. Clearly doesn't remember that there was a point with that Final Four team around I think it was more early February, late January, early February, when everybody was like, "Oh, they're not even going to make the tournament," and it flipped like a light switch. So we've been riding high the whole time to this point, and we just got to, if we have a lull, with one loss is not a lull by any means, but if we have one, you got to cut it off quick and bounce back.
Luke S. made a great point in the chat. I know you can't see it yet, MWD, but he says them rushing the court confirms our blue blood status, which is, I mean, that's an interesting take.
I was watching it with a couple friends, and that's the first thing I said when they started talking about that. Oh, the Auburn players are going to have to get off the court. Arkansas is going to rush it. I said, man, we're the team they rush the court for.
Right?
That's a first for Auburn basketball.
That's got to be a first. I mean, not since the 80s maybe or something. I don't know.
It hadn't happened often with Auburn football rushing the field that I can't even think of the last time that happened with an Auburn football team, but it definitely had to happen. I even in the 80s, I don't think anybody rushed the court for beating Auburn. Maybe that 99 team, because there were some folks tired of hearing about us, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, that would be about it. I'm not. That would be a good thing to look up. I'm not asking you to do it. I bet Crocky Poo would probably know that, but yeah, it's good stuff.
That's kind of a question that somebody like David Halsell would remember. I mean, there's not going to be many folks around that are going to know who's rushed the court against Auburn.
Yeah, I can't remember anything like that, MWD.
Yeah, no comment on that. But,
I'm at the back booth. I'm just kidding, man.
Well, no, he's not. He doesn't own it anymore. He's just renting it this year. So.
Yeah.
So you think tomorrow might be the day with Brian?
It's got to happen. It's got to happen soon, man. I mean, he's coming back, and I'm telling you, everything's ground to a halt. I mean, like the program is at 0 miles per hour.
That's the thing. I mean, it's not like there's any games or recruiting visits or anything like that right now. But just for our players who have to be the first priority, you don't want to leave them in limbo.
Yeah, I agree. And they're all in limbo right now, believe me. I mean, there's contracts that need to be ratified. I mean, like Christian Robinson's contract. We got to get that. That's got to get signed off one way or another. I mean, so they're just going to not sign it?
Yeah.
I mean, I get the realities of it, but it still sucks, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's the players and the assistant coaches. That's who fans get all worked up about. I mean, this is going to work out, and I think, people need to stop assuming they know more than they do. I think a lot of people are thinking we're going to fire the guy just because he wants players to be tough, and I'm like, no, that's not what's at issue here. But it's like what you really have to be thinking about is how these players, these coaches, and their families are being affected, and that includes Brian Harsin and his family. I mean, they're one way or another. I think they're going to walk away with some money out of this, but it's still the mental distress from it is extreme.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of coaches that don't walk away with much at all, which is the thing. Assistant coaches.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of money to a lot of, folks who grew up places like I did and stuff like that. It sounds a lot, but when you factor in that lifestyle and how quick that money's going to disappear, it's not life-changing money.
Whoa, this has gotten dark in a hurry, man. Okay.
But,
well, I appreciate.
Anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think people need to, stop. This is more to the bunker crowd. I think most of the folks on the brain drain kind of get it, but folks need to stop rushing the judgment on that and just let it play out. And the fact that, will come out as they will. But bottom line is, whether he was in the wrong or not, what he did right, didn't do right, whether there's 4 calls or not, Auburn football's got to move on right now. It's not, and he's got to move on too. I mean, it's just not, there's not a path forward for both sides together.
I agree completely.
And I think, frankly, I'm not tied to Freeze or any other particular name, but even some of the names I would never consider for Auburn a year ago, the NIL environment has changed so much. Everything's changed so fast. I think we're going to be in great shape with whoever it is, and except maybe Kevin Steele. I won't go there. Even if that's the direction it goes in, I think it's going to be a better situation than it would have been had Harsin stayed on, just because of where recruiting was.
Yep.
Even with all the drama, it's going to end up being better.
Well, it always is. There's always some drama at Auburn. Auburn ends up cresting before too long. That's just kind of how it works.
Well, that's you can slap the because Auburn with the trademark on that. So let's do that and go on.
All right, MWD, appreciate you, bro, and thanks for calling in tonight again. And watch out for those sin caves if you happen to run across one.
Jay, my mom was listening on the last show, so that almost got really interesting. I'm glad I didn't call in. But War Eagle.
All right, buddy, War Eagle. See you, man. There he is, MW Dave, who's a tall individual. We've got a couple hogs who have jumped into the chat, and I don't know as though anybody here is talking any smack about Arkansas. I thought they played a fine game. I mean, they beat Auburn. They took it to overtime and really excelled in overtime. Took it strong to the hole, hit their free throws, and messed up Auburn's screen game. I thought Arkansas played well, and if these folks were thinking that, that JG, this dipshit Auburn streamer, was going to be talking smack, dude, I've been warning. I know you guys don't watch the show a lot, but I mean, I've been warning these folks, and a lot of them have been with me on this, that this game was going to be a major challenge because I felt like Arkansas was better than they were at the end of December, and they've proven that to be true. And you go into Bud Walton, and you better pack a lunch, man. I mean, it's like that. It's an electric atmosphere against a surging Arkansas team that's going to make the NCAA tournament. It's one of the toughest teams in the league right now, and so I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I think we're taking it so blasé. In a way, it's just kind of like shit, man. I mean, you just ran into a buzzsaw, and it happens sometimes. Pipe Layer Nick is in the chat. Pipe Layer Nick, of course, our number one Purdue fan, and Purdue is now officially teabagging University of Illinois, Fighting Illini, as they often do. And, yeah, Purdue, really, really good team out there. I have this weird feeling that Auburn and Purdue are going to play in the Final Four this year. Just saying. Mobile alum, 1991, jumps in again. Of course, one of our all-time favorites from the lower Alabama area. Hearing Zach is talking to Georgia. Is this something we need to be concerned about? Well, kind of. I mean, that's just kind of a matter of how you see things. I mean, his future here does not look good, right? I mean, does Zach Etheridge, is he a good coach? Hell yeah. Is he a good recruiter? Hell yeah. Is he a quality individual? Hell yeah. But, I mean, if they're going to turn over the coaches, which is looking likely, I'm trying to be diplomatic here, looking likely, he's not going to have a spot. Now, will there be somebody that says, will Hugh Freeze or will Jeff Grimes say, hey, we need to keep some dudes from before? I think Zacchaeus would be somebody they would definitely take a look at, assuming he doesn't sign with Georgia. But, I mean, at this point, if I'm an assistant coach at Auburn and I have an opportunity to go somewhere that's at least lateral, if not bigger and better, I better fucking believe I'm doing it. Hell yes. Hell yes. As I said earlier, the program is at 0 miles per hour right now. It is absolutely stopped and shut down. I mean, it's not like Auburn doesn't have a team. They do, but I mean, everything is just in neutral. And you can't leave it like this. I know they're hustling. They're not out there dilly-dallying. Allen and Office of General Counsel, they're not just chilling and drinking tea. They're trying to get to the bottom of this as quickly as they can. Anyway, I'm glad to see people in the chat being so friendly to our friends from Arkansas. And, of course, John K. from the Arkansas side is being really cool, too. So that's what I like to see. I like to see that harmonious thing. It's not me against you. It's all of us against time. I'm telling you that. That's what life is about. Mama Dudette says, David Housel has indeed weighed in on the court storming. I don't know what that means, but it makes me laugh. JG, I don't like it they did that. I'm sure David. I spent a lot of time with David back in the day. Haven't spent as much time with him lately. He got mad at me back in 99. He really undressed me. Not actually undressed me. He let me know how he felt about something that I had written, and honestly, I didn't feel that now that I look back at it, I wasn't real proud of it. I'm not proud of everything I did at 27 years old, okay? I'll tell you that now. I deserved it. And when Hugh Nall dog cussed me for 15 minutes and called me a piece of shit, I deserved it. I would never write that story again. Sometimes it's good for you. Sometimes it gives you character. You know what I mean? 22-2, Auburn alumni says, absolutely no reason to be anything other than elated. That's what I'm talking about right there. It's the right attitude. But yes, a Mobile alum, I would be concerned about Zach leaving. We got a call coming in from an unknown number. Hey now, how you doing?
What's going on, JG?
Who this?
Keeping them eligible. How are you doing?
Hey man, you haven't been on in a minute.
Been a while. It's been a while. How's things hanging?
Long and hairy and hard to carry, brother.
Hey, I like to hear it. One thing I don't think we've talked about quite enough tonight, Kessler with 19 boards. That is insane. When's the last time an Auburn center, Auburn player has ever had 19 rebounds in a game?
Yeah, he really brought it tonight. And, Andy picked up Jabari as a player of the game. I was like, what?
I don't get it. But did you see the shot when we're in overtime? He's on the bench. He's absolutely devastated that he's fouled out. Do you think that's him getting in his own head? Do you think that's just his passion with the game? What do you make of that?
I think that he makes some kind of a promise to BP to not foul out of games because that was something that was a big problem for him in December, And I think he just promises BP, I'll always be here for you. I will not foul out. And then he did, which dude, there's a minute left in overtime. He's already played 35 minutes or whatever. I mean, he's been an absolute animal.
He fouled out in 45 minutes. Let's give him credit, right?
And he was an animal, dude. I mean, this is the most complete game of his career. Like, he was just an absolute fucking animal.
Absolutely.
So,
he's a walking double-double. He's a monster.
He takes things real seriously like that, and I told y'all about it in the summertime. Like, when watching him in practice, he would just beat himself up over little mistakes he would make in practice. He's just that guy. So, yeah, I think that's what was going on there.
All right, JJ, let's talk about this dumpster fire that is the football program.
Wait, what? Yeah, okay. What's up?
Transition hard. Okay, let's say something happens with Harsin over the next couple of days, and then a new coach is hired within the next 2 to 3 days. What's the timeline of getting assistants in, getting things up and running, and back to if we're at neutral now, if we're at ground zero now, when can we get back to being an actual football program?
Great question. Okay, so let's say he gets fired tomorrow on the 9th. Then you've got to get a coach within a couple weeks. So what would that be? February, let's say 20th or something like that? Yeah, let's say it had to be faster than that. Let's say by the 19th you'd have to have a coach. And then you got to get all your shit put together. So you'd think you'd start spring ball like middle of April, maybe? And then A-Day gets pushed to May? Is that even possible? Can you do that?
I don't know. Anything's possible with Auburn. It's just Auburn sometimes makes it so difficult to be a fan of the program with the shit that they pull. I just want it to be on track. It's embarrassing right now.
I don't necessarily see it as embarrassing, but I get where you're coming from. It's just an unnecessary blight, right? It's like, how does this always keep coming?
It's self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Always.
I'll let you
go. I'm.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I was about to get back into the bourbon, so I'll let you get back to the stream. Let you get back to the boys.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man. See you, man.
Take it easy, sir. Bye.
Dang it, I was going to add him. Let me see if I can still add him. Oh, I can. He kind of ended that one abruptly, didn't he? All right, there we go. I got him. Next time he calls in, I'll know who it is. I get where he's coming from, though. I do. Auburn folks of a certain age, and I'm coming up on 50 myself, so I feel like I've been around long enough now. I've seen a lot of ups and downs. Seems like a lot of the really biggest car crashes are ones where you slam it into a wall, you know what I mean, on purpose. It does seem that way to me. Yeah. El Tigre was asking me, did I cry, talking about when I got verbally corrected by Hunal. I did not. I was, I kind of in the moment, I kind of knew I deserved it, really, and I just kind of took it. And I ended up being, I got along real good with Hugh. He was a pretty fiery individual anyway, though. I mean, I'm guarantee I'm not the only one who got dog cussed by him. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, man, I deserve that one. I'd tell him that if I saw him today. It was a bad take. I wrote a column after the 0-1 Iron Bowl when Auburn lost 31-7 to the Bam Bams, and I said that the Auburn Tigers quit. I would not write that now. I don't know that. Unless some player told me, yeah, we quit. Then at that point, I could write that. But nobody told me that. And you just don't write that unless somebody says it. It's a 4-letter word in the football world, and you just don't write that. I would never write that now. There's a million other ways to put that in ways that aren't so accusatory and unprovable. It is just bad. Bad. Let's see. Auburn alumni says, I was in the room with Leard and Jeff Klein in Sewell when the news broke about Tiny Terry. That was a pretty wild moment. Wow, Jeff Klein. One of the great arms in Auburn history. No shit. Jeff Klein had an incredible arm. I watched Jeff Klein, seriously. Back in those days when the beat writers, we were all together all the time. These days, we're all separated. But I always had a football with me. It wasn't quite regulation size, so it was like junior size, you know what I mean? Because we don't have the biggest hands necessarily. And the beat writers, we would just throw it around. Me, Jason Caldwell, like Troy Johnson, Joe Medley, Krista Turner. I mean, all the fuckers that were there. Neil McCready. Back in the day, we'd throw it around. So we were at the bowl game in Atlanta, 2000 season, just throwing the ball around in the Georgia Dome. And Jeff Klein says, hey, man, let me see that ball. I said, sure, because I know Jeff. He's cool throwing the ball. He says, you think I can hit the fucking goalpost from here? He's standing in the other end zone. And I'm like, that one? He goes, no, that one. That's like 110 yards from where we are. Dude, he threw it through the goalpost. From the other side of the field. Now, it was a junior ball. But that's 110 yards, yo. Or maybe, whatever. You have to get it over the post, so it's maybe 115 yards or whatever. Unbelievable, man. It's crazy. And I think I've told this story too, but there was definitely during the 1998 season, there was a team meeting they had. And Jeremy Zills got it. Jeremy Zills is the punter. Auburn alumni, I remember this cat. He said he had something he wanted to say, and Leo Carson told him to sit his ass down. Nobody gives a shit about punters. I'm just saying. Look, man, we all love Cody Bliss and Oscar Chapman. I mean, I'm not hating, but come on, that's funny. And that is coming from Leo Carson. Like, you just take that one and sit your ass down and forget about it. Forget about it. Canoe Man says we sat in front of Jeff Klein's first start against UTK in Nayland in 1999. That did not go well, did it? There was a rumor that Jeff Klein was missing some medication for that game. I don't know if that's true or not. He had left some medication at home. They were playing in Knoxville, as Auburn alumni notes. Also, Canoe Man notes. Auburn alumni says Leo Carson was a scary dude. Yeah, and I didn't want to mess with Leo. I was really nice to him. I was like, hi, Mr. Carson. How are you? Canoe Man says Jeremy Zills is a name from the past that he'd forgotten about. I'm glad to be here. Spark that memory, brother, of a fine punter from the past. See, War Eagle 00008 says they quit in 2012. Patrick Miller, wow, there's a name from the past, was tailgating before games, and he was starting at right tackle. Dude, I heard something about Patrick Miller. It wasn't necessarily great here lately. I think he's getting straightened out, though. I think he's good now. Yeah. Hard-working dude, though, man. When he got on the field, he would absolutely truck people. Risk No Reward, our man who likes to talk about the parlay bets and has made us all a bunch of money doing that. He says, hey, what do you think about the football BS? I don't know if it's BS. I just think that he's an extremely unpopular coach in a lot of circles. I'm not necessarily saying he is inside the complex, but he hired all those guys. I just think that I just wonder about recruiting. If recruiting really is super bad, I mean, I don't know. I think the Mason stuff I think the Mason stuff has a big effect on what's going on right now, bigger than people realize. Man, you guys are bringing up some great names from early in my career there. People from that late 90s era. Talking about Markeith Cooper, the Lizard. He's a good dude. Who else we got? Y'all talking about DeMontre Carter? Yeah, I covered him at Auburn and Troy. Yeah, that's true. DeMontre. That guy was really... he was just kind of angry, wasn't he? DeMontre was kind of an angry dude. but he made me laugh a lot. He actually he would sit down with me. Well, there were a few of us. He would sit down with him, and I think Michael Burks, I think it was the tailback, from like Louisiana, that played with him. Yeah, I think it was DeMontre, Michael Burks, and there was a third. Oh, it's Clifton Robinson. Yeah, enjoyed talking to them. Let's see. John says, hit that like for your guy. There's only 34 likes. Y'all can do better than that. Look at that. We're even getting the kudos from an Arkansas guy. I love it. Junior Rosegreen, FU Google Scum, says, yeah, he was a little bit later than that. Junior was here maybe 2000-ish to 2004, but yeah, he had a great, I won't say who it was, but back in those days, we would interview players, freshmen, all the freshmen at Sewell when they would like register for, not when they register for classes, like before their first practice, we get to know them. And when we met Junior Rosegreen for the first time, he explained to us that, no, I don't think Michael Burks was from Florence. It was, who's the dude that was from Florence? There was a tailback in that era. The guy who had his knee got injured. He was from Tuscumbia. You guys will get this name right. I'm sure you will at some point. I'll see it and I'll know it. But it's not Michael Burks. Okay, so anyway, we met Junior for the very first time, and he says, tell us about your, growing up and stuff. And he says, well, my mother died during childbirth, which is a sad story. And then there was a reporter. He said, so you're the youngest? We were like, I like that John C. Reilly clip where he's like, yeah, man, he's the youngest. If his mom died during his childbirth, like there's no woman to put out babies anymore. Michael Owens, my man, Auburn alumni, comes through. Michael Owens is the guy from Tuscumbia. Michael Burks is the guy from Kenner, Louisiana. Yes, indeed. Sencade Pennington, MWD, pulls up from Troy, Alabama. Sencade actually should have been really, really good. He got hurt. Jacob G jumps in and says, hey, Jay, loving the show and your work on the bunker. This loss is a growing lesson and bound to happen. Much love. Yeah, nothing wrong with that one, man. I agree with you. That's a good ball club, Arkansas. Thought they played a good game. I thought Auburn struggled to deal with some of the things they were doing defensively, specifically messing with the screens and forcing them to kind of change their attacking paradigm. Great fan support, and man, it was always going to be tough. It was always going to be a tough game, and I thought Arkansas took advantage of it and won the game in overtime. I mean, it's all good. You move on from it. You get Zep back, and you just keep digging and keep grinding. Let's see. Auburn alumni said I actually beat Larry Casher in NCAA with Auburn. He was Florida, and I beat him with a pick six by virtual Larry Casher. Larry Casher from Mobile, I believe, right? Yeah, there were some good stories about Larry Casher back in the day. He was an interesting cat for sure. Snowburn says, were you covering Auburn when Dante Culpepper almost beat us in Auburn? That was my first game with my dad. My dad brought me to when I was 6. Yes, I was there. Funny story, if you think it's funny. And I thought it was really funny at the time, and now I think about telling it, and it really wasn't that funny. But Dante Culpepper, there was a girl on our beat. I don't want to really say who it was because I don't really think that's important, but there was a girl on our beat, and she went to the UCF locker room to interview Dante Culpepper, and he walked up to her completely naked, which is super disrespectful. It's just, you think about it. Honestly, we laughed about it at the time, and I think about it now, I'm like, ugh. So he walks up to her completely naked, and she very classily goes, hey, can you put some clothes on? And he said, yeah, I'll be right back. And he put a sock on his dick, and he walked back up to her. And, yeah, that's the things that girls sometimes have to deal with in this business. I honestly think it doesn't happen like that as much now, but that did happen before. That's not a very nice thing to do. No, you could be a little better, man. Cody said, how do we have Cadillac, Ronnie, Trey Smith, and Brandon Jacobs at the same time? Is that not one of the all-time great collections, right? Unbelievable. And it's crazy that Trey gets thrown in there. And Trey was pretty damn good, though, right? He was pretty damn good. Trey was a great guy to talk to, too. Very, very bright. Kind of like a computer nerd in a way, but he sure didn't look like one. Stephen Davis, risk no reward. I actually met him one time. It was when I went up to dadgummit, the tailback who went to South Carolina. His name escapes me now, but when I went up there to cover his commitment ceremony, I did it not because I thought he was going to go to Auburn, because I had been tipped off before that he wasn't going to go to Auburn. But man, he had been so awesome to talk to that whole time, and I just want to go and just meet him. And he was a super high individual, a super highly cool individual. I don't remember his name though. It's just been so long, but shoot, that kid was great. And I was really enjoyed going there to his church in Spartanburg and meeting him. And then I met Stephen Davis there. That was the first time I had met Stephen Davis. That was a big deal at the time. Everybody was like, wait, what? Stephen Davis was actually there? I'm like, yeah. War Eagle 09, who I met at the event the other night, says, Jay, what'd you think of the refs? I thought they called a pretty good game. They were a little sensitive on the handsy stuff, but called it both ways. It's what an RA does in college. Lots of folks seem to disagree, though. Yeah, that one didn't. Marcus Lattimore, thank you, guys. That's exactly who it was. Marcus Lattimore is the tailback from Spartanburg, South Carolina, who committed to South Carolina over Auburn, and I went to his commitment ceremony, and I'm really glad I did. It was a long way to go, but he Lattimore, thanks, bro. Thanks for D. I'm so glad I went. I know it's kind of a wasted day, but he was just to be able to meet him and his family and ultimately Stephen Davis and kind of be there in that church, and it was worth it to me. I still have the memory of it, and it was a long time ago, so that was good. As far as the refs tonight, I thought they were pretty good. I mean, most of those fouls I thought were legit. They got a little crazy with the moving screens, although I think that was 2 and 2, 2 for Auburn and 2 for Arkansas. I thought the ones against Walker were fair. I mean, like his fifth foul was absolutely a foul. He was leaning over Jalen Williams. I mean, you can't do that. He knows that. Yeah, I can't. Was that when Wen slipped crossing the lane on the right side? I couldn't tell if they had called that a foul or they called that a travel. If that was a foul, that probably wasn't bad. But I don't really remember any particularly egregious calls. But you guys know how I am, man. I don't get real crazy about calls. I mean, aside from the fucking double dribble in the Final Four. Brady wants to know, WTF is my alert for this one, Jay. Talk to YouTube about it, bro. Thanks for getting me correct on Marcus Lattimore. I don't know how in the world I could forget that. Blake R says, Trey running up Bammer's ass in place of injured Caddy and Ronnie is one of my favorite all-time moments in Auburn history. Boy, I did not think that was going to happen that day, right? That was so crazy. Really, really easy guy to cheer for, too, Trey Smith. And his buddy on that team was Cole Bennett, was a tight end. And those guys together were both, like, super smart and like highbrow funny. Like they were so much fun to hang out with. Just interviewing him and stuff. I think he had a blog at the time. This is when blogs had first picked up, and it was called like The Man Behind the Mask. It's Cole Bennett. And he was writing like, what it was like to be a player and stuff. It's really cool. He did a good job. Risk asked me if I've met James Bostic. Hell yeah, I have. He came back to get his degree at Auburn. This has been probably 10 years ago, and that's kind of when I met him. And then I've seen him back a couple times since then. I think he's either got a son or somebody he knows that's been getting recruited and stuff. But he's a police officer now, and he's a very bad man. You definitely wouldn't want to talk shit to him, although he's a nice guy. So he would probably de-escalate it before it got to that, but I would definitely not want to fight him because he's a very bad man. Yeah. Mama Do That says Cooper Wallace played for that game, played fullback for that game too. I did not know that. Cooper Wallace, young man from greater Nashville area, right? Yeah. He's a good dude too. A lot of good dudes, man. There's probably a lot of good dudes on this team too. We never get a chance to hang out with them. And also they're like a lot younger than they used to be. I used to be the same age as them, I mean, like James Callier and stuff. Like I was his age. And like Brumbaugh, when he was here, I knew him, and we're about the same age. Ghetto Streamlabs remembers, he's a real one, remembers Brandon Jacobs on kickoff coverage when he damn near killed that guy at Vanderbilt. He legitimately put a guy in the hospital, breaking a wedge. And then, do you remember that? This is a very subtle one, but when they played Western Kentucky back when he was playing here, and he like some Western Kentucky kid was like going to try to get a sheep shot on him about 3 yards into the end zone. He came missiling in, and he was going to try to hit Brandon, who had just scored a touchdown, and Brandon saw him. And as the kid like came to like knock him out, like Brandon just literally pushed him down. Like he didn't even really hit him. He just kind of, and it was over. The kid just went straight down, and Brandon just kept on walking. Man, it was just brutal. That little kid had no business getting anywhere near him. Let's see. Auburn alumni says Hollywood is one of my best friends from AU. Love me some Hollywood. Talking about James Callier, who's just a really, really happy, fun guy. Yeah, he was awesome. Mama do that. Robert Johnson reverse somersault in the end zone. Robert Johnson might be the first Auburn player I ever talked to because he was at Jeff Davis in Montgomery. He was still playing high school ball when I got here. I think he was an Auburn commit. And then covered him all the way through, and he was great, man. He's another one that came back and got his degree. It takes a lot of chutzpah to get that done, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. All of them do. James Bostic is another one. Derek Bird, former basketball player, is another one. My main man from Ypsilanti, who also was a great individual. I saw him at a football game about 10 years ago. Got a big old picture, like one of those with D Bird. He was part of the 03 team, 03 basketball team that got to the Elite Eight. Yeah, see, Chip remembers Jacob almost killed some Western Kentucky dude. He just embarrassed him. I think that is on the internet though somewhere. Lombard alumni reminds us of the Rudy Johnson run in 2000 and the Rashard Gilliard, who really made me feel old as Rashard dude 2 years ago. Brought his kid up to Auburn who was being recruited. So Sleepy was bringing his son, dude. I told Courtney, I said, the first time I cover someone's grandson, I'm out. I mean, I'm done. I'm not going to do it. At that point, I know I got to go. I mean, well, Darren Bates would be a good example, but if James Callier brings his grandson up here for recruiting, I'm just going to have to resign right there and just tell you all, deuces, it's been real. Glad to have you. My man, Brad E., who's been drinking some delicious brown water lately, I know this from photographic evidence, says we lost the third half, as stated in the stat sheet, and they only had one field goal. FML. Yeah, I think Auburn was like 1 of 5 from the floor in overtime, something like that, and then also 0 of 2 from the free throw line in overtime. That's not good. Not good. Oh, yeah. The Rudy Johnson run was against Wyoming, as I recall, and like damn near every person on that Wyoming defense had a hand on him, and he just kept going. And I think it was Mike Tirico that was calling that one. He was like, Rudy Johnson. Yeah. Let's see. Canoe Man thinks that if I cover a grandson, I will then just become a full-time brain drainer. I'll probably be too damn old, yo. Probably too damn old. MWD says one of your peers may have already covered a great-grandkid. Shit, I bet they're getting close because I remember that like P. Marsh has covered Liston, and he's covered Brett. Well, no, not Brett. Brett and Bart, and then they have kids now. So that would probably be. Well, that would be. We need Phil Gargis Jr. to have a kid, right? Or like Malin Kent. I wonder how young Malin Kent's oldest kid is. That'd have to be somebody that Philip would have covered. Really, it's getting really off base here, isn't it? Malin Kent. Malin Kent's dad was a quarterback at Auburn. Malin Kent played baseball at Auburn in like 97 to 99, 2000, something like that. So he probably has a kid. He's probably my daughter's age, though. Let's see. Canoe Man says, dude, you can absolutely own the drain well into your 90s. It's a real valuable property. Yeah. All right, so the deal is we'll kind of check out and see what happens tomorrow with the football thing. I do expect some action on that tomorrow. There's no way I can give you a time on that. And I have every reason to believe they've been trying to I think he's going to have to go. And then I think that they're going to Okay, Abe Taxman says he just watched Jacobs against Western Kentucky. He confirmed he murdered that guy. Was it the guy who was trying to take him out in the end zone, and he just kind of damn near killed him? I ran into Brett like 2 weeks ago here in Montgomery. That was fun. He's always such a nice dude. He's such a nice individual. Bart, Brett, and Liston. Well, Bart and Brett are the same level, though, right? They're both Liston's kids. And then there's another one, the oldest, Blake, who played basketball at Arkansas. Hugh Freeze guy. That's where I was getting. I'm glad you brought me home. We draining after Harsin is canned. The answer is yes. We are going to drain. We are going to drain when Harsin gets, if he gets let go. I do think that's going to happen, but we'll definitely be doing some draining on that. I'm not necessarily going to do it at the moment he gets cut, but at some point during the day, we have to get that done because we got things to talk about. And then we would need to work. We need to start looking forward to whatever the next step is going to be. So we'll definitely do that. I will get some sleep tonight. You guys get some sleep tonight, and we'll get it done. LT Gray says, "Does the BOT have a car waiting at the airport, mafia style?" That's not very nice, but you might be right. Just being real. Blake R thinks the Hugh Freeze guy may be one of Stoltz's alt accounts. Oh, speaking of that, we are going to do a rundown tomorrow. At least we're on par to do one. We better be careful though, right? Because if we end up at Voodoo and then all that goes down, we're going to be like. Anyway, Michael H says, "What will happen to Alan Green?" I don't like it for Alan Green. You know how I feel about him. I've told you guys that many times. I think he's a great athletics director. I think he's a good dude, but I think that if Harsin goes down in flames, I think that's going to have to reflect bad on him. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Stuff gets dicey in a hurry, you know what I mean? Just saying, it does get dicey sometimes. Dadgummit. Had something I'm going to look up our super chatters from today. Give everybody an extra shout out here. Jacob G actually super chatted me twice. And I missed the second one. I don't know how I did that. He says, "Blink once for Freeze, twice for Grimes, JK. I have to keep my eyes wide open now. You got me all scared and nervous. I'm just teasing. Let's see our super chatters from today. Our roll of honor. A lot of the All-Stars are here. Duff Diver, Sam H, Quan, Canoe Man, War Eagle 0008, Cleveland Brown, Mobile Alum 91, Blake R, Jarrell. We will probably do an OC hot board for you at some point in the future. Ravine, Christian M, Love the Cats, Willie V3, Caddy Wampus. Dadgummit, I missed his too. He just says support. My man. Appreciate you, Caddy Wampus. I'm sorry I'm late on that. Sparrow Empire, Cleveland Brown, Crocky Poo, Christian M again, Stu Pup, keeping it alive. Collie Biscuit, Daniel P, Mobile Alum again. Chip. Shit, man, I missed that one too. That must have been during a call. He says, JGT, get that bunk DM I sent you. Thought I answered you, bro. Chip was formulating some new, I was almost going to say cups, glasses. Some more of these. And yeah, they were badass, dude. Super duper. Jacob G, War Eagle 09, and Brad E. Man. And then we had all the legends that called in tonight. Appreciate you guys. Again, when this thing gets going, we'll pick it up and we'll be brain draining, and I will do the best I can to answer your questions and entertain you when things are going on. All right? So, till then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Don't get down on this team. Still a really good team, and they've got Final Four power and cunning and all that. All right? So be good. I'll see you guys for too long. Until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Make great decisions out there. Peace.